Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hey guys, this is Yazid and I'm so glad you're here. At Equity Master, our entire focus is on sharing honest and credible opinions on investing in the stock market so that you can make better and potentially more profitable investment decisions. Now, if that's something you are looking for, you are in the right place. Now, before I move ahead and talk about today's idea, I recommend you hit the subscribe button to ensure that you do not miss any updates from us. So now with that out of the way, let's dive into today's episode where we are going to be talking about what everyone around us just can't seem to get enough of, which is electric vehicles. Now at present, the electric vehicle space is dominated by Elon Musk's electric vehicle and battery maker Tesla. In January 2020, the company was valued at 117 billion US dollars. By the end of the year, who would have thought that figure would skyrocket to over $650 billion, that too in a short span of time. This meteoric rise has nudged investors to search for companies that may benefit from the EV disruption. Also, with the Indian government firing on all cylinders for electrifying the automobile sector, investors just can't seem to keep their hands away from companies even remotely related to the space, even if it is a loss-making company. Now, as we know, the automobile companies won't be the only ones who will benefit from this megatrend. There are opportunities for various industries. Many stocks have now become proxy plays for investors looking to dabble in the EV revolution underway globally. So with that in mind, today, let's take a look at the top EV stocks from each space and what kind of returns they are generating for investors. First up, commercial vehicles. The top EV stocks in commercial vehicle space include Tata Motors, Olectra Greentech, JBM Auto, Ashok Leyland, and M&M among others. State governments are in fact inviting tenders to buy electric buses for public transport facilities. This gives a strong order push to companies manufacturing electric buses like Ashok Leyland, JBM Auto, Olectra Greentech, Tata Motors, and Eicher Motors. Tata Motors was one of the first companies to develop a fully electric commercial vehicle on its own. It is now preparing to launch its first electric truck. Tata Motors is already the leader in the electric passenger vehicle segment with a share of more than 70%. Olectra Greentech is one of the lesser known stocks in the EV space. It has major interests in electric buses, composite insulators, transformers, data analytics, and IT consulting. The company has a healthy order book for 1,325 e-buses. Recently, Maharashtra's Environment Minister Aditya Thackeray announced that all public transport buses in Mumbai will go electric by 2028. In fact, on my way to work today, I noticed that most of the buses around were all electric, which is pretty awesome. So as more states like Maharashtra shift towards electric buses, this will bring huge opportunities for electric bus makers. Let's take a look now at how these companies have performed in terms of stock returns over the past 1 year. Tata Motors is up over 160% in a year. JBM Auto has returned close to 290%. But Olectra Greentech is the clear winner. It has grown close to 600% in the last 12 months. That's phenomenal. On the other hand, stocks like M&M, Eicher Motors have relatively underperformed. Number 2, 3 and 4-wheelers. Now this is the most obvious choice for investors who want to play the EV opportunity. Select automobile companies are manufacturing EVs in the 2, 3 and 4-wheeler segments. The 4-wheeler segment includes Tata Motors again, while the 2 and 3-wheeler segments have TVS Motors, Bajaj Auto, Hero MotoCorp, Greaves Cotton among others. Although there are several gaps in the 4-wheeler EV space, such as limited number of products, high prices, insufficient batteries, companies have big plans for the future. Now I don't know if you know this, but 75% of the total number of vehicles sold in India are two-wheelers. India's homegrown two-wheeler makers are fast-tracking their EV plans to capture reasonable market shares in the coming years. India is currently undergoing an EV revolution with high adoptions in 2, 3, and 4-wheeler spaces and increasing interest in the private 4-wheeler sector. Here's how the top stocks from this segment have performed in the last 12 months. Tata Motors, as we have seen, is on a winning streak. But other than that, Greaves Cotton has had a good run as well. It's up 77% over the last year. Bajaj Auto and Hero MotoCorp, on the other hand, have actually failed to capture any gains over the last few quarters. Next up, number 3, EV battery makers. Lithium-ion cells are the heart of electric vehicles. These batteries are the most expensive component in EVs, accounting for 50% of its cost. These batteries have changed the way products are being designed in the modern world. Automobile companies are proclaiming lithium-ion batteries as the future of automobile energy, and rightly so because of its inherent advantages. For example, lithium-ion batteries weigh much less than other rechargeable batteries and hold their charge extremely well, while the energy output from these batteries remains fairly consistent. The rapid penetration of electric vehicles in India will drive the need for lithium-ion battery manufacturing in the country. Currently, most electric vehicle manufacturers import cells and batteries from China, the world's top producer of lithium-ion cells. However, companies are now accelerating plans to produce lithium-ion cells in the country, hoping to take advantage of over 180 billion rupees worth of government subsidies. The top players in this segment are Amara Raja Batteries, Exide Industries, and Cabra Extrusion Technique, although a lion's share is with Amara Raja and Exide. Now here's how the stocks have performed over different time durations. Surprisingly, other than Cabra Extrusion, which is up 226%, Amara and Exide have actually given negative returns. Number 4, EV charging infrastructure. Like lithium-ion batteries are the heart of electric vehicles, charging points are the next important thing. EV manufacturing companies are spending lots of capital and energy on charging station infrastructure. By 2027, the business of EV charging stations can reach an estimated $30 billion at a CAGR of approximately 40% between 2020 and 2027. To fast-track the adoption of EVs in India, the government is planning to install up to 70,000 EV chargers across the country in the next few years. The work is already underway. At least 22,000 EV charging stations will be set up using the facility of 70,000 petrol pumps. Now for this, oil companies like Indian Oil Corporation and BPCL have already pledged to use their outlets to set up 17,000 EV charging centers. Companies are tying up with startups to tap into this opportunity as well. Hero Electric has already announced a collaboration with Bengaluru-based EV charging startup Charger to establish 100,000 charging stations across India. The top listed companies involved in this space include Tata Power, Indian Oil Corporation, BPCL, Reliance Industries, NTPC, and Power Grid Corporation. Here's how stocks from the charging infrastructure segment have performed this year. It seems the Tatas are on a roll. Tata Power is up 200%, which just stands out as compared to the others like IOC, Reliance Industries, NTPC, Power Grid, which have all grown in the range of 20 to 40% last year. Moving on, number 5, chemicals. To enhance the specialty product market, chemical companies have entered the lithium-ion battery business, where they plan to build an integrated business which includes cell manufacturing, battery recycling, and battery production. The top stocks involved in this space are Tata Chemicals, Gujarat Fluorochemicals, NEOGEN Chemicals, and the recently listed Tatva Chintan Pharma. Gujarat Fluorochemicals has forayed into new age businesses including chemicals and fluoropolymers for EVs, batteries, solar panels, and hydrogen fuel cells. The company is in the process of setting up an integrated battery chemicals complex. Meanwhile, Tatva Chintan Pharma is India's sole distributor of chemicals used in zeolite crystals for the manufacturing of detergents, air purifiers, and dietary supplements. Let's take a look at how the stocks have performed over different durations. Well, it seems finally the Tatas have competition. Tata Chemicals is up close to 80%, but just look at Gujarat Fluorochemicals. That's up 330%. NEOGEN is not so bad either, 147% up. Moving on. Number 6, auto ancillaries. Indian auto ancillary companies are working with global players in areas like wiring harnesses, rear view mirrors, cockpits, bumpers, and more. Companies including Sona BLW Precision, Motherson Sumi, Suprajit Engineering, Minda Industries, and FIEM Industries have announced acquisitions of EV tech companies or are ramping up their component business with an eye on the global market as well. Component makers are understanding that investing in EV component technology and capacity is a matter of survival. Here's how the top companies have rewarded investors over the past 1 year. Well, other than Motherson Sumi, which is up by about 38% last year, all the other 3 companies have delivered triple-digit gains for investors. Next up, we have commodities. Now, the demand for commodities like lithium, cobalt, copper, and nickel is spiking already as EV demand is increasing. As these metals are limited and the most commonly used metals in creating electric car batteries, there could possibly be a supply crunch going forward. Hindustan Copper is betting big bucks on EVs to drive the demand growth. The manufacturing of EVs will consume copper 4 times more than traditional internal combustion engines. Now, this bodes well for companies like Hindustan Copper, Nalco, and Hindalco. These companies can be greatly benefited by changes in the automobile sector from IC engine vehicles to EVs, as the prime commodities that will be used in EVs are copper and aluminium. Moving on, number 8, software. Automobile companies are stepping up investments in technology by investing more on research and development. Now, as per reports, spending by auto companies is expected to increase by 6.5% on average, with a focus on software. Tata Elxsi said in its annual report that automakers and component manufacturers were growing their R&D expenditures on initiatives to develop driver assistance and Industry 4.0 capabilities. The company is engaged with leading OEMs and system suppliers for the development of next-generation hybrid vehicles. Meanwhile, L&T Technologies' focus on disruptive businesses gives it an edge over its peers. It has invested in electric, autonomous and connected vehicles, medtech, 5G, artificial intelligence, and digital products. Now, here's how Tata Elxsi and L&T Technology stack up against each other. 100 rupees invested in Tata Elxsi would have turned into 336 rupees. L&T Technology hasn't done so bad either. 100 rupees invested in L&T would be worth 285 now. Finally, number 9, PET film manufacturers. Now, did you know that thin polyester films with packaging are used in the electric vehicle industry? Polyester film is used in lithium-ion batteries and also used to control energy and power density and to increase the safety and life cycle of the battery. Here are the top companies involved in the space and their performance over different durations. Polyplex Corporation and Jindal Polyfilms have both gained over 130% in the last 12 months. Cosmo Films stands out though, with gains of close to 225%. Comparatively, Time Technoflast and Uflex have gains of 49% and 33% respectively. And with that, we come to the end of our list today. To conclude, EV stocks will continue to generate massive returns, and all the hype surrounding EV stocks is for a good reason. Slowly, EVs are replacing internal combustion engine vehicles. As we saw today, the transition to 100% EVs will bring opportunities not only for EV makers, but also for several other players in the EV space. You just need to invest in the right EV stocks, which can make you a fortune. Luckily, Equity Masters research has uncovered a little known way to play this massive 15x opportunity in electric vehicles. So before you invest a single rupee in any EV stock, we highly recommend you watch this video to study the results of our latest research project. Now all you need to do is click on the link here to watch it. I have also put a link in the description of this video for your convenience. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to come back next week for a new and awesome video. Happy investing. Goodbye.